Hi everyone, welcome to 10 Power 100. Hi everyone, welcome. Great to see some comments. Um, I see some of you already have joined. Fantastic. Good evening, all of you. Yes, I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Farahan. Good evening, Spurti. Good evening, all of you, actually. This is great response. Thank you, all of you, for joining on time. I hope you are doing well. Okay, we'll wait for a few more seconds and then we shall begin today's session. I think some of you are also looking up at the screen. We will actually be doing a little bit about the MCQs. I'm so glad that my answers are helpful for you. Yes, we are actually focusing on model papers today. I will be talking to you a little bit about the model papers for sure. Let's just wait for another 10 seconds, guys. Yes, 2 mark questions, important questions is what I'm seeing over here. I think we will cover some of those 2 mark questions as well. Yes, important question for 2 marks. That's something that we are also going to share with you in this video, hopefully. I'm actually very, very glad that you are finding the explanation in this channel very helpful for all of you. I think that was the whole agenda why we actually started to do this, right? We wanted you to feel confident, we wanted you to feel comfortable, and we wanted you to feel like you have a good sense of resource for English, especially, right? So I'm very happy looking at your comments, and I'm actually feeling very, very motivated to do this video right now so that you will be one step close to your English exam. So uh, we shall begin in the next 20-25 seconds. Call your friends and ask them to join this live class. I think it'll help them, especially with MCQs and 2 mark questions. So great. I think we are good to begin. So keep your pens, papers, everything ready so that you can make notes if it is necessary for you. Okay. So like I've put up on the screen, I will be covering a little bit about the 2 mark questions. Along with the 2 mark questions, I will also show a little bit about the MCQs as well. Actually, the focus of this video was the MCQs, but based on what you have put in the comment sections, I would also want to explore the 2 markers from the model papers, right? So that way we are covering the model papers. I think yesterday you have seen a video that was put up by Pawan sir. He has shared a little bit about the Kannada exams, right? Kannada exam nalli, most of the questions actually came from the model papers anta gottaito. And today, when I was talking to some of my students, I think I also got to know that a large portion of marks actually came from the model papers, alva. So I think it is great platform for us to start on that note itself. So let's try to see. But just a caution, children, just because Kannada the model papers are, it's not that you will get this the harm in preparing, right? Okay, so without further model papers, so what I have put right now is the 3 model papers back to back, and also the MCQs I've already solved it, right? So I'm going to explain a little bit. I will also tell you the important things that you should probably cover for the MCQs and for 2 markers from all the 3 model papers in this video. I think that should be a good enough resource for this video itself, right? So part 1, this is model paper 1, children. Idರಲ್ಲಿ 10 questions ಬರುತ್ತೆ MCQs. ಇದು ನಾನು ಆಗಲೇ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. You also know this. I'm not going to spend time actually explaining this to you. So in the first question, ಈ MCQs ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೆಸನ್ ಇಂದನೂ the chances are that you will get 1 mark for sure. If you see the blueprint, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 marks ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ನೋ ಯಾವ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ 1 mark ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಲೆಸನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ 1 mark ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು focus, right? So now let's look at the first question here. Juliet does not describe the knight as garish son. She actually describes Romeo as the garish son, right? So in knight and the context is actually Romeo. So the words in the Romeo soliloquies, there are a lot of words that she uses to describe him, especially the knight, right? She says that he's the black-browed knight. Black brow andre eyebrows are black color anta. Then she also says that he's gentle, he's loving. Idella ide alva. So those are the words that she actually uses to describe Romeo. But garish son is not the word that she uses to describe Romeo. So the first answer is garish son. I'm just going to reduce the size of this so that it's better for you. Okay. So Romeo Juliet Ali, please focus on the soliloquy and the monologue. Romeo and Juliet Ali, lot of descriptions are there. They could ask you for 1 markers and 2 markers also. Next question, 2 dear in the idರಲ್ಲಿ. So in 2 dear, the dash was the initial punishment given to the criminal. If you have listened to my 4 mark video, you will know that the first punishment given was death penalty. Second punishment given was life imprisonment. Adadmele they decided to let him free alva. So the answer for this question was the death sentence. Okay, so that is your answer B. Please engage, put any questions that you have about these topics. If you have any questions, I will actually answer those questions live, and if you don't have, then we will pause. Okay, so yella questions now I will look after I finish 1 model paper. After I finish 1 model paper, I will look at any questions that you have with respect to it, and then I will answer those questions also. So that way I will also finish whatever I have planned for, and at the same time I will address your questions also. So just stay focused on it, right? Okay. According to the speaker on children, life does not tarry with. This is actually very good MCQ. Muru model papers, if you observe, the MCQs are very good. This one is actually, if you don't know the poem, you will not be able to answer this question. Life does not tarry with. Yesterday is the answer. It is somewhere in the second page of the poem. In the middle, they have written a line, right, before the imagery section. So that is your answer. It does not tarry with yesterday. Now the 4th question is from Sunny Morning. Donna Laura enters the park accompanied by dash in the play Sunny Morning. Here, please remember there are 2 people, no? Don Gonzalo and Donna Laura. Don Gonzalo's servant was Juanito, and Donna Laura's maid, the female version of a servant, was Petra. So the correct answer is Petra. Okay, so that's what we have put up over here. Next question, in the Gardener, the rivalry between Tamanna and Basavaya started moving from visible to abstract domain when Tamanna thought of, what did Tamanna try to do over here? So he started composing his experiences as ballads and singing them. Alva. Gardener lesson, you will get to know that they both were first rivals. Rivals admele enaidru avaru, they had land in the, they wanted to gain more power. Alva. So that is where when Basavaya forcibly acquires land from Tamanna, he actually decides to completely destroy him by writing ballads. Ballads are poems, right? So that's your 5th question ka answer, which is A. Then Borges believes that poetic act happens. Read this question properly, children. This is a part of the question. Okay, options illi there. So they're saying 2 conditions when the poet writes it and the reader reads it and understands it in a slightly different manner. So technically ಈ question ಗೆ C is correct, but this is incomplete ಅಂತನೂ ಕೆಲವರು argue ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. This is not a complete statement. No, the poet writes it and the reader reads it and understands it in a slightly different manner. So actually this is an incomplete answer. So actually I would say that the correct answer for this is only 1 is correct and not 1 and 2 are correct. I have purposely marked this answer because I was expecting you to notice that idu incomplete option ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ the correct answer should be option A. Okay, so this is your first 6 questions. Really pattern understand Makodi. You have one from Romeo Juliet, you have from Two Dear, you have On Children, you have Sunny Morning, you have Gardener, and you have I believe books will never disappear. So 6 questions are there. Now let's move on to the next set of questions, and then after that I will look at your comments to see if you have any questions. So far, if you're following, then I am feeling quite satisfied with what you are doing, right? Now let's look at the 7th one. It's a little tall for me, but I will still try to read it. Complete the analogy with reference to Japan and Brazil. Driver ge hunter anta kottidare, pedestrian ge dash anta kottidare. Now here, look at the spellings: pray and pray, P-R-E-Y, right? This pray is praying to God. That is not the correct answer. The correct answer is prey, which is the animal that is being hunted over here. So the pedestrians are actually called as the prey. It is P-R-E-Y. Next question, 8th question. In the water, Roof was a popular man in his village because. This is a very in the textbook kind of a question. So if you do not read the textbook, it will be very tricky, and you will most probably get confused with option B. Okay, they might say that he was an expert in whispering campaigns, but he was not. This comes actually in the first part of the lesson. In the first page, last 2 lines, answer. So the correct answer is that he never abandoned his village to seek work in towns. Berorella in Umuofia, they would all run off and they would do work, right? But he is the one who actually decided not to run off from Umuofia and stay in the same village itself. So that is why he was a very popular man. The 9th question, according to Sainath, more than economic aspect, dash that the cycling brings is vital for rural women. The correct answer is self-respect. Again, this answer is in the last part of the lesson, children. So you have to read the last section, last paragraph only, where he talks about cycling was like flying an aeroplane. So our section only, this is actually self-respect. The last question for this model paper, which is the odd pair among the following, obviously the correct answer is Panchamas and Untouchables. Okay, so this finishes your 1 mark question. So what I want you to understand is your pattern. 12 questions are very direct. Some questions are tricky. For these tricky questions, of course, I would always say you should read the textbook. But if you want to practice some questions, question bank is a very good source for you. Now let's look at some of the. Questions that you have. Letter writing is something that all of you have shared. Yes. Tomorrow is not the exam. Tomorrow is statistics actually, and I think psychology, if I'm not wrong. Okay. Yes, you got the answer correct. It is P-R-E-Y. Yes. Okay. Sure. So I think I'm looking at some responses in terms of letter writing. So that's a good demand from your end. So I'm actually also going to redirect you to that video which I have made, which captures letter writing and dialogue writing. But at the same time, let's look at that letter writing format once here, and then we'll see if that is possible for us to take it forward, right? Iga, I'll just quickly talk about the 2 mark questions. 2 more questions only. I've already given you the format, right? 2 more questions. It will come from. Just a second. Okay, your 2 mark questions. I hope this is clear for all of you children. 2 mark questions will come from Romeo and Juliet. You're actually 3 poems in the Bharate. Idana now already one video I'll cover Madidini. Romeo and Juliet in the Bharate, On Children in the Bharate. 1 2 mark question. Then you will get 1 question from the forest lesson. That is, I believe, everything I need to know, I learned in the forest. My God. And the 4th one is actually from water. Okay, so this is a poem, this is a poem, and this is a poem. So basically 3 poems in the 3 poems in the you should answer 3 questions. It is actually easy for you to score your marks. So don't really worry about this. It will also be easy questions. My suggestion is to look at the question bank. And in my video about the 2 markers, I've already covered poems in the Yavdad important questions. Okay, so very quickly, just to recap your memory, let's see if you people are able to recollect some things. And of course, your English exam is on Tuesday, so I'm assuming some of you would have already started preparing for it, right? So what are the 2 things that Romeo intends to do after the measure? After the measure is done, what does he want to do? He ideally wants to look at Juliet. This is, I'm assuming this is clear. If it is clear, can you just put some comments on the chat, please? Yeah, I think some of you are writing the answers. Yes, watch her place of stand is the correct answer. Plus touch her hands so that his rude hands become blessed anta ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. So that is actually the answer that you should focus on right now. Yes, yellow is perfect for you. Great, I will follow yellow itself. Yes, and to kiss her hand after the measure is done so that his rude hand will become blessed. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ ದ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಏನೇನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೆಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೈಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಓನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಬಟ್ try to use the keywords from the textbook so that you will get your 2 marks, right? The next question is, according to the prophet, in on children, what may parents house and what may they not? You'll read the question properly. What can they house and what can they not? So they can house their bodies, but they cannot house their souls, right? So physical body na they can build one house and they can make the children stay there, but the soul of the children cannot be forced to stay in the house. So the answer for this is, they may house their physical bodies, but they may not house their souls, because the souls will dwell in the house of tomorrow. Idanu baradre it is good because you will get your 2 marks, right? What is Chipko movement? Women from which region participated in it according to Vandana Shiva? Yes, I'm actually noticing that some of you are thinking that the paper is not very clear, but listen to what I'm saying. I think if you're listening, it will be good enough for you to respond to it, right? What is Chipko movement? Women from which region participated in it according to Vandana Shiva? Chipko movement is the movement that took place in the the Himachal region, where women actually protested against deforestation and they went and hugged the trees, alva. So protection against deforestation baribeku, that is important. And women from which region? I have already shared you, from the Himalayan region anta baradru, you will get your 2 marks. Then adike I'm telling you, this lesson is quite tricky, forest lesson, because the keywords are hard to remember. The 3 poems in there, it is easy to remember your 2 mark question. So that's why I'm saying focus on the poems, because that will be very beneficial for you. What is the mighty movement mentioned to in the poem? Water. Where did it happen? Again, I've covered this question in the poem that we have done in the poem video. The mighty movement's name was the Mahad struggle, okay, which happened at the Chadar tank. Iveredu words na baradre, rather these 2 phrases na baradre, you will get your 2 marks, right? The mighty movement mentioned in the poem took place at Mahad, was called as the Mahad struggle, which took place at the Chadar tank. So when you look at it, it's not very difficult, right? These are questions that are there in your question bank also. So you actually on such a poem na word bitra, I think you will be able to solve all the questions for 2 marks. So don't really worry about it. I think that should be fine. I actually love the way how all of you are putting down comments over here. Yes, Tehri Garhwal region, correct. That is perfect. So great. I think this is great engagement. So let's move on to the letter writing actually. Since some of you did ask for it, just put a comment if you want us to quickly look at the 3 mark and the 4 mark question, children. Take till 10. Okay. Sunny morning sun summary. All right. Non-violent movement, correct. All right. So we'll just quickly look at the 3 mark questions. 3 mark questions nalli nan suggestion kottiro prakara what the 3 poems na nee focus madlebeku, which is when you are old. This is very simple. Idadmele you should also be focusing on when you are old. You should write to a foot from its child na focus ಮಾಡಿ, to a foot from its child, and you also need to focus on heaven. Okay, ಈ 3 poems na ನೀವು proper cover ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it's very easy for you to get 3 into 3 9 marks ಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ you have to learn one more lesson which will help you get your full 3 marks. That lesson, according to me, I think the best suggestion is Sunny Morning. Okay, it is just like one story. If you imagine this story, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೂವಿ ಸ್ಟೋರಿನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, don't write the Kannada movie story, but similarly if you are able to make that connection, no, this is a very simple lesson to remember. Or you can also remember Japan and Brazil, because that is also a very simple story. Like I said, I have already shared some notes on Telegram which you can use for Sunny Morning also. Okay, now the first question, how was the Himalayan region affected by logging? This is quite a tough, it's actually a tricky question. It is in the middle of the textbook, second page alli nimage after the Chipko moment, this is there, right? So that section you will have to write it by yourself, or rather read it and then write it by yourself, right? So So I would say that is tricky for you. How does Don Gonzalo recall the beauty of the Silver Maiden? This is very straightforward, very easy, very direct question. So don't worry too much. It is you just have to use those fair words, right? Like she was as fair as lily, black hair, beautiful eyes. She had a perfect figure. God ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ description ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So if you are able to recollect and write those points in a coherent manner, for rest assured you will be getting your 3 marks. So if I were you, I would actually answer the 19th question. ಈ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. 3 marks summary ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay. Along with that, the 20th question is, how does the portray that the love is different from the love of others? Oh, this is very simple. When your old poem in the, you can aram se answer this question. The next question that you would answer, so I finished 2 already. How does the foot get defeated in life, right? So basically it is the journey of the foot. Very simple question. A summary baradre, you will get full, in all possibility you will get full 3 marks. And the last question that I would attempt is, what aspects of nature? This question is also very, very simple. You have to write about the rolling stream, the roaring surf, tender sunshine falling on the verdant gardens, the gentle sunlight, then all of those other details. Splendor of harvest, the poet creates heaven on earth by imbibing and spilling the song of nectar. So basically the overview baradrunu, you will get your marks, right? From what I'm seeing in ಮೂರು papers nalli patterns nodidre, these 3 poem questions kelirodu is quite easy. It is not very difficult, and I have shared the notes. I think we can ask Pawan sir to also share it once again on the Telegram channel tonight, so that you have everything in one place, right? I think we have done this video a long time ago, so don't worry, those notes will be available for you. If you are not able to access it, the Telegram channel will be there for you to access the notes as well. Yeah, so don't worry about that. 4 mark questions I have already covered in my previous video, so do look into those the 4 markers. I'm just going to take some seconds to just look at what you have written. Except poem, out of 3 lessons, which one would you suggest? Like I said, I would suggest Sunny Morning. Because the Sunny Morning question also comes from 4 mark. Okay, sure shot. Sunny Morning in the 8 marks you will get. 4 marks, 1 long answer, 3 marks, 1 long answer, and 1 MCQ bande baratte. So why simply study 4 lessons, right? Just study Sunny Morning. You will answer 1 3 1 4 aram se, right? So my suggestion is Sunny Morning. But if you find Sunny Morning tough, buffer goskara, if I would say, forest lesson is good, or Japan and Brazil is also good. So that's my recommendation for 3 marks. I'm stuck with 1 more 3 mark lesson. Except these 3, don't worry. Go through the notes that I have given you for Sunny Morning. I think it is dead easy. Just remember that story. I think that will be best for you. If you don't remember the story, go back to the 3 mark and 4 mark video. And Pawan sir can put that link of the video also later in the comment section once this live class is over, or he'll put it in the Telegram channel also. Just look at that video for the Sunny Morning section. Ashtu nodidrunu saku. I explained the entire lesson by drawing things on the board and all, right? So it's very, very easy. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm seeing, can you tell about the 4 marker from cycling chapter? Yes, that is one of my favorite lessons. I believe cycling lesson, right? lesson alli you will get about economic implications, 1 question barbodu nimage. Apart from that, you will get about a general question tara keltare, okay? Or they can ask you about Sheila Rani Chunkat also, the contribution that the district collector did, right? Idu kelbodu, Arivoli Yakam movement baggenu kelbodu nimage. The variety of questions is very high, which is why I'm not suggesting this lesson for most of you. But if you love that lesson, I think you should just read that lesson once, right? If you read it once, you should get that answer quite well. Can we write answer as per ChatGPT? Chetan, that's an interesting question, right? See, ChatGPT, what I've observed, if I have to be very honest with you, right? ChatGPT, really, they write answers which is way ahead and way above the standard that is expected. Now, I'm not saying that ChatGPT answer is not great, but ChatGPT also omits the keywords. ChatGPT paraphrase mabidutte. Paraphrase means it will not write literally what is there. It can sometimes give words that are not there in the textbook, or it can give certain descriptions which is not accepted, right? And in literature, ನೀವು PUC ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ICSE, State Board, CBSE ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, literature aspect ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ you have to use textual words very strongly. So which I somewhere feel ChatGPT does not do, or even Gemini, because it has a very complex way. ನೀವು even promptly, if you say make it in as per second PUC format ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, you may not get the best answer, because sometimes the key points might be missed. Quality of your answer wise will be amazing, right? The way it will write will be great. So language wise it will be perfect, but I'm just wondering, is it the best option? Because literature wise you might struggle. So ನೀವು correct prompt na kotre, in all possibility you might get a good answer with keywords, but I don't want you to take the risk, right? So which is why I'm suggesting maybe this is not the best time to explore ChatGPT anta. That's my honest opinion, to be very honest. Okay, letter writing is what we have been asked. Renukamba is saying what questions will be twisted, right? How to identify and write the correct answer. Yeah, so the questions will be twisted. Now, I cannot promise you that the questions will not be twisted. But one thing, you look at the pattern. Either paper, if you observe, what were the arguments put forth? This is not twisted. This is a direct question. So if you have read 2 dear, arguments is very simple. That section is very small, clear, crisp. Ishtana, if you're able to write, I think that's not a twisted question, right? So if you're focusing on 2 dear, it is easy. Now, Laura and Gonzalo recognize each other but conceal their identity. This looks very twisted, but it is not twisted. Conceal their identity and the question, then you have to write about how they concealed it and why did they conceal it, which is easy. So nimage a word na hudukbeku a question alli. Don't go by the length of the question. The question might look very big and daunting, but go by the key word that they have used. Conceal. Ide question they can ask in a direct manner also. Why did Donna Laura and Don Gonzalo conceal their identities? The answer is the same. Nothing changes, right? So that is the cute here. Describe the competition between Tamanna and Basavaya. This is very easy again. After Basavaya began to compose and sing ballads. So you need to start writing about the first section. Very simple ability, that they both had physical rivalry. Then it moved to abstract rivalry. Ballads in the, how did it affect Basavaya? And then what did Basavaya do after he was shrunk in humiliation? So if you know all the key points, then you're writing this answer also, right? So not very twisted. The function of books is irreplaceable. This is also not a twisted question, right? It is basically, why are books important for us? The significance of books. E3 types change the question. So the board will actually play with you in terms of how they can frame the question. But at the end of the day, children, if you know what they are asking, you should be able to write. So don't really worry about the questions being twisted. I'm sure you will be able to do it. How questions are asked and how much line should we write? Okay, Pushpa. So I will get to letter writing in a while. Arham. So just a quick 10-second break, please. So for 3 markers, it's very easy to identify because they will give you the name. Okay. When you are old, you should know that you should write the answer of that particular question itself. So that's not very difficult. Similarly, if they say to a foot from its child, also 2 possible questions. One, they can ask you about the life of the foot, the journey that the foot takes. The other question that they can ask you is the changes that the foot undergoes in the shoes. So you see these keywords, life, journey, and you have to write about market, ministries, want to become apple, butterfly, all those pieces. If they ask you about the changes, then you should write about triangular heads, eyeless reptiles, our section. Now, if you want the actual answer, that's again there in the 3-mark video and in the PDF. So identification is not very easy, difficult, children. It's actually quite simple. When you read the question, just think, what are they asking? E question kelta yara, e question kelta yara. If you're confused and if you're wondering yav question irbodu, then I'm again not fully confidently saying you this, but you can take elements of the lesson and write a general summary. In all possibility, you might get 2 marks also for it, right? So I don't want you to get 2 marks. I want you to get 3, which is why I'm saying you that these are the only 2 possible questions from To a Foot from Israel. So don't really worry about it. And heaven, if you're not on earth, is very simple, children. It's just 3 different sections. That's it. You just need to know all the 3 sections. Write all the 3 sections for any question that they ask you. Emphasize on that section that they're asking. Nature ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ second paragraph ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ emphasize ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Poet ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು last stanza ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ emphasize ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So it's actually about how you're thinking in that moment. Don't be nervous is what I can say. When you look at the 15 minutes reading time irattalva, in that 15 minutes reading time, just look at the 3-mark questions, look at the 4-mark questions, try to identify from which lesson and what they're asking. That's it. Don't write anything on your question paper. Just identify, they're asking this, there I should write this. If you're able to do that, that should be more than enough, right? Blueprint will be followed. Yes, blueprint will be followed. That's what I'm also hoping for. Usually English, they do change one here and there questions. But from the preparatory till now, I think we have realized that they are following the blueprint. So in all possibilities, they will follow the blueprint. So nothing to worry about that. 3-mark model question paper and 2-mark flip with answers. Yes, we will try to do that, Akhilesh. Summary good for questions given from the poems. It is good for you to write the summary for the poetry questions. But like I'm saying again and again, please emphasize when you're underlining the keywords, underline those keywords that are associated with the question that is asked. Okay, a simple example is heaven if you're not on earth. Ide question na kelidre. They're asking you aspects of nature. Nature anta bandre second stanza. Second stanza nalli enide you have to underline rolling stream, roaring surf, tender sunshine on Verdant Gardens. ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು highlight ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ and write it in smaller paragraphs, which will capture the attention of the evaluator. In the previous videos that we had uploaded, some of you had asked me how length of the answer, right? I think you would have, if you've written Kannada paper, you would know the size of the paper, right? So it will be roughly around A4 size, if I'm not wrong. And you'll have a little thick lines. So keeping that in mind, I would say for 3 markers, 3/4 page is good. But if you should break it down into at least 2 paragraphs. First paragraph, short introduction baridre, second paragraph, answer baridre. So 3/4 page baridre for 3 marks again, that should be good. But at 3/4 page only, you should write content. Don't write something which is unnecessary. Write what is relevant. Avoid making scratches is what I would say. And don't make spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes. Idanella cover madadike I have already made notes which are simple, easy to understand. So refer to those notes which should be helping you, because I have made the notes keeping in mind the key answer that the board has given. Previous year board exams alli they will give the key answers alva. So our key answers na togondi I have modified it, made it easier for all of you. So that should be a good resource for you to use for. Fate is curious in sunny morning. Which part of answer is this? That's a good question. Fate is curious. Now, what are they trying to say? When does this section comes? This comes towards the end of the play, right? So what has happened in this play? First, they didn't like each other. Then they started talking about their stories. And finally, they concluded by hiding their stories. Idella baradre, you will get your marks, right? So for this part, you should talk about very briefly. It was a sunny morning. They came to the park. Then they started having a banter with each other. They fought with each other. They were irritated with each other. They shared examples of why one person is better than the other person. Then with the pinch of snuff, they made peace with each other, and then they started narrating stories. Little bit about the stories if you write in between when they realized that they were former lovers. Adanella baradre, you will get your 4 marks for Fate is Curious. So don't worry. Grammar, I've already made a big video about grammar for I think just a few days ago. That will cover for you, Mohan. Refer to that video, because I have covered the answers of all the 3 model papers in the grammar section, especially focusing on reported speech and the other aspects of grammar, right? So that is something that is there. And I will come back again tomorrow, hopefully, to also just help you a little bit about this as well. Okay, so I think we have covered more or less all the questions that you've asked, except letter writing. So I will get to letter writing now. Children, if you're following with me, just put yes or something on the chat so that I know that you are there with me and you are going ahead with what I'm doing. This is just going to help me understand what's happening right now with all of you. Okay, I saw a few hellos, so that's good. Okay, now for the letter of application, this is the type of question you will get. Okay, for this type of question, now what you should write, there are 2 ways in which you can do letter of applications. One, the biodata na CRC, you just write only letter of application without resume. This is there in your workbook. The second way to write it is write a short letter of application and then write the resume. The format of it is very simple. Letter of application format, I'll just write it for you here on the screen. First, you will start idanim sheet andre. I'm just assuming that this is your paper. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to do it here, children. I think it will be easier for all of you. Okay. So now, if this is how your paper is, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the first letter of application. Okay. First, write question number. This will always be last question. I think it is 36, if I'm not wrong. A. Okay. So, illi you'll start with your from address. From address, they will mention to you in the question. Take XXX or YYY anta. Okay, so let's look at the model paper question itself. So they are saying write xxxx yy for your address. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ನೀವು. Okay, this is your from address. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ leave one line, then you write date. Your exam date will be on 3rd March. But ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿರಿ, advertisement ಏನಾದರೂ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ you have to follow the advertisement. If they say apply within 10 days and the advertisement appeared on 10th February, 10 days from 10th February 20th February apply ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So ಅವಾಗ ನೀವು 3rd March ಅಂತ ಬರದೆ logically it is wrong, right? So just keep in mind, in most of the cases I think this is how they'll give you. Then to address ಬರುತ್ತೆ. This to address is there for you in the question paper itself. So if I look at this here, this is your to address. HR manager, Accenture Private Limited, RMZ Ecospace, Sarjapur Road, Bengaluru 560103. The link is your same like that. You will write over there, one below other. Okay. Once you write to address, leave a line. I'm not writing the address. One line bit admale you write respected sir or ma'am. In your workbook they've written sir or madam. That is also fine. Okay. Dear sir or ma'am antanu baribodu. This is when most of the children will make mistakes. Okay. Idadmele format martobirtare. Now what's the format? First you're supposed to write subject. Okay. Subject ಬರೀತಾವಾಗ it will always be application for the post of whatever that is given to you in the question. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ? It is for the post of software engineer. No? So just write software engineer. Okay. This is where most of you will make mistakes. Illi subject bariyadilla, illi ಏನೋ ಬರೆದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, and some of you will write subject in the middle. No, we are all keeping everything to the margin. Don't move away from the margin. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ leave a line. I'm not leaving a line. This is important. You need to write reference. Now, where did you get this advertisement from? That is what you should write. So the answer for this is your advertisement that appeared in the newspaper dash 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 dated whatever date that newspaper advertisement was. This is your format. This is a very simple format that you should write. Idadmele you are supposed to write the letter of application body alva. So I'm just going to undo this. In the meantime, I'm just going to look at some questions. Can we write the managing director? Okay. Managing director, as long as they've mentioned it to you in that particular thing, I think you can go ahead and do it. It depends on what's mentioned. If you look at here, it is written as HR manager, so don't change it as it is. Okay, so I'm just going to erase this for saving time of all of yours. Okay, now for the body of the letter, write simple 3 paragraphs. 3 paragraphs ಏನು ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ we have already shared with you. It is there in your workbook also. Just those 3 paragraphs. First one, I am writing this letter in response to your advertisement seeking for an opportunity for this position ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ second paragraph, you write a little bit about yourself. You say that you have graduated from PUC, you have completed the course with this much first class or with this distinction, etc. And you can write a little bit about your hobbies. You're interested in this, and you have an experience of 2 years ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ it is fine. Third paragraph, just write, I hope you will consider my letter of application and will respond to this email or this letter and the baradru. It is enough. Or you can use actually what they have given to you in the workbook also, right? So what they are looking out for here is your format and your content. Your content has to be formal and it has to be clear. You please don't write, I want you to select me, I want you to take me. That is not formal English, right? And that's not allowed for in the exam also. So write 3 paragraphs. Adadmele you will write yours faithfully or yours sincerely. If you don't know the spelling of sincerely, write faithfully. In board exam, it is very important for you to not write your names at any point of time in the paper, right? So please ensure that you keep this in mind and write XXX. Before this, I forgot to say, sorry, you have to write thank you. Thank you, yours faithfully, and then XXXX. So this is the first part. Now comes the resume part. ಈಗ resume ನಲ್ಲಿ what you should write. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ go to a fresh page and write resume on top in bold. Okay, and then write your name. This is the format, very simple format. Name, father's name. For father's name, please again don't write your own father's name. You can just write ABC. That's fine. Then address. Write it accordingly. Then you can say Nationality is important for you to write. This is a key part of your format. For nationality, the answer will always be Indian. So you can write Indian. Don't write India. India is nation. Nationality is Indian. Okay. So that's what you should be writing here. After this, you will have to write your educational qualifications. The educational qualifications ge draw a simple box. What is your course that you have done, university or college, year of passing, and percentage. ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡಿ, and please write 3 things minimum. SSLC ಬರಿಬೇಕು ನೀವು, PUC ಅಥವಾ 10th is okay, and any degree. Okay, and please note that this degree should be associated with the job that you are applying for. Okay, this is where the logical reasoning should come in place, children. If you are applying for the post of a biology lecturer, you cannot write I have done degree BCom. That's not correct, no? So write logically correct things. Idadmele write interests. Okay, you can write your hobbies, etc. One or two points you can write. Languages known baribeku. What all languages do you know? You can say proficient in English, Hindi, or you can just write Hindi, English, Kannada also, whatever you are comfortable with. Idadmele, the last part is where many children again make mistakes. Here you will say place, date, and if you have line al bardirtira, ade line alli SD XXXXX anta baribeku. Okay, this is both is in the same line. Okay, just note these 3 points. I am just going to move a little bit this side for you to just see. SD admele, after SD you will have to write XXXXX. Okay, so that is the way you need to be looking at the letter. This much if you write, you will get 5 marks. Again, as long as you don't make grammatical errors and your content is sensible. Okay, format again 100% you will get 2 on 2, and for grammatical error, if you don't make grammatical errors, you will in all possibility get full marks. So this is your resume format. Okay, so this will give you 5 marks, children, and it's very easy for you to score 5 marks. Blueprint prakara questions paper baratta. Yes, I have already shared this, Manjunath. It is in all possibility you will get it as per the blueprint itself. SD is nothing but signature. It's just a short form that people used to write in olden days, no? They write SD and 1 dash. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so I think we have come to the end of the first model paper. Now I'm just going to help you understand the second model paper's MCQ and the third model paper's MCQ. I think I've already shared the tips over here. The idea of this video is also for you to get accustomed to the type of MCQs. If you want to get above 77, 78, 79, 80, but MCQs you cannot lose marks. Grammar I've already covered. I think you'll be fine. But MCQs, I want you to see the pattern of the questions. That's the whole point of doing this live, right? So let's just quickly redirect to the second model paper. Please keep the chat box running. If you have questions, you do ask them. After I finish the second paper, I will look into it and I will again clarify some of the questions that you have. Okay, all right. Okay, so the second paper, first question, again it has come from Romeo and Juliet itself. So the word garish is associated with dash in Romeo and Juliet. The garish sun. Garish cannot be Ethiop. It cannot be snowy dow. It cannot be idella agak chance illa. Okay, it is the garish sun. So the correct answer is B, sun. Okay, now choose the right sequence of the incidents as they place in 2 dear. 2 dear lesson gotte. This is the last part. The death penalty in the end changes agate alva. So the correct, this cannot be the correct option. See, in these type of questions, I want you to understand. Look at the order of the. You should know the story. If you know the story, then it is easy for you to identify the mistake. If you don't know the story, then you will probably make a mistake, right? So know the order. Words you don't worry, but the order of the story you should know. So guard na dismiss madadmele expenditure 600 francs barbodu. Criminal did not run away barbodu, but death penalty in the life imprisonment are chance illa, right? Because the first thing should be death penalty to life imprisonment. So that cannot be the option. Here also death penalty is not there. Here also death penalty is not there. So naturally, this is your correct answer. After death penalty to life imprisonment, only guard was placed. No, so it is logically not at all correct. So if you eliminate this, the other 3 options, option B is the correct answer. The main speaker of the poem on children is the prophet. This should be the prophet. So the correct answer is prophet. Match the following mataraga. Please don't just blindly tick the answer. First one matra martira. While Bohr's head was in Gonzalo's study. Now you will see A is 3 alva. So here also A is 3, here also A is 3. But so many times people will just see the first option and they will say, oh, it is correct. In that situation, try to do the other one also. Tiger skin was in Laura's boudoir and handkerchief was used as a shoe brush. So the correct answer is 3, 1, and 2. So the right option is A, not C. Okay. So please avoid making this type of silly mistakes, because if you make this mistake, you lost your 1 mark over there. Match the following one, you madi first. In your mind, do it. Don't do only first one. Do at least 2. Then you will get an answer, your answer correctly. In the story, the gardener Dash found it hard to decide whether the old man's arrival was for the better or for the worse. Who was that character? There are only few characters in it. You have the gardener, who's also Tamanna. You have Basavaya, you have the owner's wife, you have the owner, and you have Lokia. Lokia's child was ill and the last patal Baratalva. So those are the only characters. So Tamanna only could not find it hard, no, because he only was the old man. Can't be him. Basavaya died. Old man is actually Tamanna. So it is actually the owner's wife who was worried. Yakandre, she knew, no, that life of the owner changed. That's an important 4-mark question. They'll ask you, what are the changes that happened? And that's one of the easiest questions also to answer. So the answer is D, owner's wife. So if you see the pattern, the same lessons in the already 1-mark questions cover agide. Now, let's look at 6 to 10 now. Which of the following quote is by Bernard Shaw as mentioned in I? This is one of my favorite questions. Yakandre, this is like right from the text. And for anybody who loves literature, you should know the text well. These are the questions that will differentiate the topper and that will differentiate 75s. If you have not read the textbook, if you have just read some random resource, it's not going to help you, because these type of questions will take your case. I'm being very blunt and honest with all of you. So read the textbook. In Borges' lesson, there are so many quotes. There is Goethe idರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲೆ ವಾಹೆ nerds fern ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ. Then there is Bernard Shaw. Then you have Emily Dickinson's Gentlemen and Ladies quote one ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Then so many books names are there. Homer's Odyssey. Then you have Spengler's Decline of the West. So many things are there in this lesson. If you have not read the textbook, you might get confused, right? So what did Bernard Shaw actually say? For me, the only thing that I'll remember in core subjects like business studies and economics, definitions, same logic here also. Remember one word in the definition, spirit. He uses that word in his dialogue. Automatically, Bernard Shaw told spirit, so the other options are out. It is this. Anta, if you are still confused, you should use elimination method in these questions. All that is near becomes far is Allen hired words for, which is Goethe. Okay, so the chance Gentlemen and Ladies, you know, it is not possible because it is poem and poetry sectional baratte. The gods wrought and spun the scheme of ruin for men. That is definitely not Bernard Shaw. That is, hence automatically this will be Bernard Shaw. So please be very careful with these type of questions. I believe books will never disappear. There we saw it is possible that twisted questions barbodu. So read the text of that lesson very well. Next, according to George Mikes, Dash has more dangers than anything else in Japan. Eating soup. That's very simple, very easy, not at all a difficult question, right? Identify that. This is also one of my favorite questions. Very interesting. It's actually easy to decode it, but you have to know the story. Rufus Okeke voted for PAP. He didn't vote for PAP. He actually voted for 2 parties. No? Ballot paper na cut mabiti, he puts it in both the paper boxes. So it is wrong. Elders expressed their willingness to vote for Maduka. Maduka is also not correct answer. There were 2 rivals. PAP leader yaru? PAP leader was Marcus Ibe. And POP's leader was Maduka. So the main elders na convinced madidyaru, they were convinced by Roof. So Roof was supporting Marcus Ibe. That means this is wrong. Okay. Rufus Okeke tore the ballot paper into 2 pieces and put 1/2 in each box. That's the correct answer. So you already found which is the right answer, which is C. Now, Dash is the owner of Ram Cycle in Where There Is a Wheel. Now, in Where There Is a Wheel, I will tell my students, I'm telling all of you because you are also my students, read the names. There are so many names. Jamila Bibi will say something. Fatima will say something. Kanakarajan says something. Sheila Rani Chimkat has done something. Then one Kanamal is there. Then Manormani. So many people are there. Muthu Bhaskaran is also there. So there are many people. So if I were you, one list markondi, one small list markondi. Jamila Bibi enedlu, Fatima yaru, secondary school teacher yaru. It was you should know. It is immediately you should know it was Fatima, right? Similarly, Kanamal, Central, Arivoli Central Coordinator. So just write their names and write what they did. So exam if you brush it up, no, it is actually very easy for you to revise. So the correct answer for Ram Cycle's owner was Kanakarajan. Sheela Rani Chunkat was the district collector. Muthu Bhaskaran wrote the song, and Kanamal was the I forgot. So even I am forgetting, right? So imagine if I am also forgetting, then you are all studying this for the first time, right? Who was Kanamal? Put it in the comments. I'm also wondering who it is. The last question is the Panchama had to wait at the well until Dash arrived to draw water in the poem Water. So Panchama and Shudra. Varna system Panchamas were the last. Okay. Who came before them? Shudras. So even Panchamas had to wait for Shudras to come and get the water. So remember the Varna system diagram, the triangle. I've drawn a very bad diagram here, but the correct answer for this is Shudra. It cannot be untouchable. It is not Kamal landlord. It is not distillery man. It is Shudra. Some of the options are very senseless, so you will automatically eliminate it. But some options can be confusing. Hence, you should know the story really well. So that's your second model paper, children. So nothing to worry. I think the idea is for you to look at patterns. In this paper, we saw water and books will never disappear. Solpa tricky questions banditu, so you might lose 2 marks in this. Similarly, this one, if you don't know the story, you might find it slightly difficult to remember as well, right? So 3 questions, Rafagi is going to be tricky. Now, to address those 3 questions, some form of thorough textbook reading is essential. That's why I'm telling you tricks and tips. For that, I believe books will never disappear. Write the name of all the people or the Similarly, for where there is a wheel, write all the names and write what they did, right? So that will be a very good option for you to study for MCQs. So let's move on to the last question paper. Before that, I'm just going to look at your comments to see if there are any pressing questions that I should address. Match the following. Okay. Yes, Arivoli Central Coordinator. That's right. You're right. Madan. And Mohan. Both of you have actually given the right answers. So that's great. Okay, there's one student, Raghu, who is asking, will the questions appear from the question bank only? I would say most of your questions, I would say 90% of the questions could come from it. Literature. Grammar also, I think, might appear from that. But if you know the logic, I think you should be able to do grammar without a problem. So that's the thing. Do they provide statistical table in exam? That's something we can put in the comment. Okay. All right, great. So now let's move on to the last question paper, and then I think we will wind up for the day. Okay, so in Romeo Juliet, Dash is described as gentle, loving, black, broad knight. Please be very cautious about this. If you see both the question papers, they have actually asked questions about description of Romeo in this, and it is focusing on this gentle, black, broad knight, qualities of the knight. Our question tumma sati barta ide alva, so there is a possibility that you might get it for 1 or 2 markers. So again, here the knight, see, they have not given Romeo question as an option here, because Juliet actually considers Romeo to be the knight alva. So that is the reason why I'm saying the answer here is knight. It is little rhetorical. Okay, then match the particulars in column. So match the following, very simple. French government. This is also very, so many children get confused with the numbers. Remember the order. French was the highest, 16,000. Italy was the second highest, 12,000. And the expenses and pension was 600. Okay. FIP, if you can remember that, it will be great. F stands for France, 16. I stands for Italy, 12. 12,000, not 1,200. 12,000, 1,200. Numbers of zeros are different. And the expenses in the prison and the pension, both were same, 600 francs. Okay, so with this logic, you can easily make this answer. I told you, bare one answer matra madakobadi. Okay, because here also 3 is there, here also 3 is there. Italian king was 12,000, pension fixed was 600. So the correct answer is A. Choose the statement which is incorrect with reference to the poem on children. Parents may strive to be like their children. That is correct. Parents may house the souls of the children. No, they will house their bodies, but they cannot house the soul, because the souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. This also I clarified. There was one question about it. Don Gonzalo goes to Dash for hunting in sunny morning. See this. This is such a in the middle textbook question. This is. So in sunny morning also 1 mark questions in even write the names of all these people that are mentioned. Especially our Don Gonzalo and Don Gonzalo talk about so many friends of theirs. Beckware, Zorilla, Esperanzada. This can also come for 2 marks. Okay. I hestrella one kade barkodi. Zorilla, Esperanzada, Beckware. These were their friends. Then Campo Amor anta one barate. Those things you should remember. Then places prakara, if you know, you should also know Maricela was the villa in Valencia. Don Gonzalo was a native of Valencia. Our hometown was Valencia, alva. So then there is another place, Aravaca. Aravaca was the place where he would go and hunt. So make a note of this. Ellaru one kade idanella note ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, because when you are going for your exam, just skim ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, you will get all your answers, right? Then you have Seville. Seville is another name that is mentioned in this story. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, when he tells about his fake story alva, he'll go to his Don Gonzalo's house. From there he'll go to Seville, then he'll go to Madrid. So Seville, and of course Madrid. The entire story is taking place in Madrid. There's one Paris is also mentioned in your story. Put it in the chat. Where is Paris mentioned in sunny morning? I'll be impressed if you're able to tell me where Paris comes. There is Paris also in the story, so remember that as well. Okay. Now I told you Lokia here. Let's see, but that's the answer. That's not the answer. But Lokia is the character from Gardner, right? In Gardner, Dash had 1,000 acres of land, composed ballads, gave up everything. Composed ballads and the bantana, it is automatically Tamanna, right? So that's your answer. Borges calls Dash as the most astounding invention of man. It is books. In the second paper, Borges' lesson was tough. Either know it is such a simple question, right? That's what I'm saying. It's very unpredictable, but there's a pattern that you can see. It could be there. It cannot. It will be slightly easy also on that. Okay. Now, the seventh question: choose the analogy with reference to Japan and Brazil. The grape payments was Copacabana. The worst place of traffic was Avenida Presidente Vargas. Traffic does not come in Japan. Japan al bare Boeing matra barate, eating soup barate, and privacy barate. So automatically Tokaido, Tokyo, Osaka, all 3 places are in Japan. The correct answer will automatically be Avenida Presidente Vargas. Now, voter lesson in that, this is a big question to remember. Choose the correct series of events. POP campaign leader gives 5 pounds to roof. That happens later. The correct answer for this question was option B. People voted Marcus without taking any money earlier. That is because they were getting all the benefits from him. No, Adadmele elders agreed to vote for Marcus by taking 4 shillings. So this is your right answer. POP Adadmele hogadu. So this is right. Logically, this is the correct one. This cannot be correct. This cannot be correct. It is my right. We can go anywhere. Who said this statement? This is why I told you make that box. If you make the box, if you write the names, and if you write the details, yaar yen helidru, what is their role, adella if you write one time, if you glance, you will be able to answer this. So the correct answer here was Jamila Bibi. In the poem Water, Dash was burnt to ashes for the want of a pot of water. That is Malapelle. Karam Chedu Suvartama is not here. It comes in the agony, the social discrimination sector, the first part. Chalapalli Swaruparani is the poet's name, so it's not correct. Mahat Struggle and Chadar Tank are 2 different things. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ you should be able to eliminate 2 options automatically. You will have 2. Mahat Struggle, Chadar Tank, if you know, you got your answer, right? So it is Malapalli. So that's your MCQ, student. So I'm just going to look at what you have written, and then accordingly we can take a call. Don Gonzalo went to Paris with a ballet dancer. That's what I was looking for. Great. That's the right answer. He actually runs away. That's the original story, right? Perfect. MCQ. Yeah, it is good enough for you to solve the MCQs of all question banks. That's a good option, I would say. In the question bank, there are so many MCQs that should really help you. If you also have the, there's one small book you get, question bank anta. I think it is a handbook anta karitare. Yeah, that is blue color cover only. Though that book also has a lot of good MCQs for you to refer. So you can go ahead and do that as well. All poem important questions, we've already done that, Manjunath. The important questions of poems, very few questions are important. Actually, it's just the same, right? Romeo Juliet, just remember the images and the descriptive comparisons that they are made. Romeo Juliet, On Children, and Water. Idrinda ella 2 marks questions barutte. So for those 2 mark questions, after this video, I will actually share a link which will have all the 2 markers from all these 3 poems along with forest lesson in one place itself, from the question bank questions, right? So that you can check it out. 3 mark questions, you'll get 1 question from when you are old. Most probably they'll ask you the difference in the love between the poet and the others. Atara question kelbodu. So it'll be very simple. If you know the summary, I think you should be able to write all the 3 poem answers very easily. Scratching one MCQ and writing another. Yes, that's a good question, Priyanka. That's a great question. Children, in your question papers, it will be mentioned. I'll actually show you here. Here it is. These instructions are very important. Part A questions, only the first written answer will be considered for evaluation. Please do not unnecessarily scratch 3-4 times and get the answer, right? So I would say please do not make errors. If you don't know the answer, leave the space and then come back and rewrite it again. But my personal suggestion is not to scratch. The instruction is actually mentioned to you in the question paper, option number 5. So please do not do that. A little over the grammar, all right? Okay, pronouns now. Okay, so let's just do one of the grammar from one of the model papers. I think that should help you. So this is your verb form, active passive verb forms. This is very important, children. So when you're doing active passive, the first thing you should read is first line na odi. Nimage gottagatte whether it is in past tense or present tense anta. Past tense bantandre you have to use was, were. Present tense bantandre you have to use is, are. Okay, this is for present, and for past it is was and were. So Vijay entered anta bantandre it was past. Automatically it is past. So all your answers will have was or were accordingly. Various colorful toys singular or plural, it is plural, so automatically were. Find the past tense found, so were found. He attract, past tense attracted. He was attracted. We are talking about only one person. Singular andre was, plural andre were, if it is in past tense. Present tense it should actually be enters. S in the end agutte. Vijay enters a shop with his daughter Niharika. Various colorful toys are in it. If it is present tense, illa nodi change. A tense will matter. He entered badlu enters ittandre, then it will change. Okay. The last one, the payment was done through UPI mode. Simple, right? So 3 marks, very easy. But he answer baritaraga, don't write only the answers. Write the entire question, write the blank, underline the correct answer. Okay, there is no ABC. You cannot assume that this is ABC, right? So write the entire question, write the answer in the blank. Don't scratch here also, because part A, this is also part A only, children. Don't scratch here, and don't do all this extra. You would have written found anta, then you would realize that you found baribardaitu. Don't put all this arrow and all. It should be neat and precise. Okay. Next, appropriate expression. Cycling has dash Pudukkottai. Has brainchild Pudukkottai. Is that making sense? No. Has swept across Pudukkottai. Go out Pudukkottai. What's the meaning? Cycling has go out Pudukkottai. No, doesn't make sense. So the correct answer is swept across. It has become a movement. It was the dash of Sheila Rani Chunkat, who was the central. It was the go out of Sheila Rani Chunkat. No chance. It was the brainchild. What's the meaning of brainchild? The person who is the mastermind of creating something, right? This channel, who is the mastermind? It was Pawan sir, no? So he's the mastermind. This 10 power 100 Karnataka is the brainchild of Pawan Kumar, right? So that's the meaning of brainchild. Yeah. So this examples, if you're able to remember, I think hopefully you might get that kind of question itself, right? Okay. Now pronouns, very simple. Only one type of pronoun matra I would say you have to be careful, which is her, his, their. They are all called as possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns, when you get possessive pronouns, please remember it all will always end with apostrophe S. Okay. This is my phone. This phone is mine. His phone is OnePlus. His phone. What is that one? His phone andre my phone alva. Tejas says apostrophe barvekadike. Okay. You cannot use Tejas. Tejas is wrong. Tejas is phone. I am possessing the phone, right? So they. He answers some students, what they do is he answers munde huduktare. No, pronouns only answers munde iralla. Pronouns only most of the time the answers will be in the previous statement. So Anne Frank and her family moved to a secret hiding place. They, who are they? Her family. Anne Frank and her family members. So this is your first one. ಇದು ಬರೀತಾರಾಗ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಳಿಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ MCQs ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Sorry, match the following. You'll write day and write 5 and write the answer. Okay. She recorded all the incidents in her diary. Who is she? Anne Frank. So where is Anne Frank? Anne Frank is here only. Okay. In a diary which she named Kitty. Which she named Kitty. Which, what is referred to? It is the diary. It is an item, no? So which is one diary. Her bantu nodi. This was handed over to her father. Whose father? Anne's father. So that is why apostrophe S is important. Anne Frank's father. So this one will be 3. And last one, he in turn published it as a book. Whose is he? It is the father. So the answer is 4, father. Remember, bare numbers bariyadalla. You also have to write what it is. Here I am not having the time and space, so I am not writing the answer. Please write the number along with the answer properly next to the pronoun that is given. Idu baribek ನೀವು exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಬರ್ದಿ ಅದ್ರ ಪಕ್ಕ you should write corresponding answers. Okay. So that is pronoun. Ille you got 10 marks. Simple, right? Okay, let's move on to another set of few grammar questions. See, comprehension passage is very simple. My personal choice will always be to write the prose comprehension. Poetry comprehension might be a little tricky, but if you have the time, write both. Whichever answer you get, you should be able to manage. Okay. Now rewrite as directed. Part D in that they have given you. This is the place where a lot of students might, make some mistakes, right? So I would say be cautious over here. Let's do a few examples. I think you'll get an understanding. Neha is used to come to college on bus alla. You don't come on the bus. You don't go in the bus. You go by bus. So the answer will be by. Okay. Its own language country has. Every country has its own language. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ please use common sense and pause. Don't be in a hurry to finish the answer. Answer ಬರ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಓದಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ. If it is not making sense, then don't write the answer. Change it, right? So be patient, children. For grammar, please be patient. Reread again. ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ then you will get to know if there is an error or not. One of my friends. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ draw a diagram. You have so many friends, okay? ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ one of my friend. So one of my friends ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, it is singular. You are talking about only that one friend. One of my friend is living in Mysore. Priya dash to office by car every day. Every day ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it is routine. Yesterday ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ರೆ it would be past tense. Every day ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. So it is present tense. Priya goes to office, not went to office by car every day. You can't went to office, no? You are going to office every day. Go. So present, another form of present form of go is goes. ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, you have to write any one question, A ಅಥವಾ B. I would say write both. Whichever is the best, they will take it. Linker is very simple. Just read it and then place it. Question tag ಗೆ the negative question tags ಬರಬೇಕು. If it is a positive statement, negative question tag. If it is a negative statement, positive question tag. So let's do one example. I do not know what to do. I do not know ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, negative statement. So question tag will be positive. ಇಲ್ಲಿ auxiliary verb ಯಾವುದು, do pronoun ಏನು I. So do I is your answer. A policeman was clearing the traffic. Frame a WH question. Who was clearing the traffic? Simple, right? So you got your 2 marks here. Rectify the errors ಅಲ್ಲಿ you will get article mistakes ಇರಬಹುದು, spelling mistakes ಇರಬಹುದು, redundant words use ಇರಬಹುದು, ಮತ್ತೆ use words ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, words ನ use ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So you will have to use that. This is very simple. Paragraph ನ ಓದಿ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ answers ನ fill ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you will get your 2 marks. But you have to draw this. Write the question number, draw this, write the number also accordingly. 1, 2, 3, 4 ಅಂತ numbers ಬರಿಬೇಕು, draw ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, then it will look neat. Okay. Dialogue writing I have already done. Reported speech, this is there in another video. It would take a lot of time to cover that over here. Refer to the video, children. That will help you with reported speech. I promise you, because I have explained it in thorough detail over there, and that should be a good enough things for you. Okay. Dialogue writing and letter of application also I have done in another video, which is very, very simple. And I'm also going to use some of these questions, right? So I'm wondering, will it be a good option for you to have a live class even tomorrow? So if you feel that it will be beneficial for you, just put that in the chat, in the comment section, so that I can come a little bit more with more resources and with more explanation and more fast suggestions for you, which will help you do well. So just take the next 1 minute or so to put that in the chat box, and then I'll just keep a track of it. I have heard everything. 1 yes. Okay. Extra questions are evaluated. It will be evaluated, so don't worry. You write whatever you know. The evaluator will determine which is the best, and they will take the best marks itself, right? So don't worry. I'm seeing a few yeses here. All right. Water lesson 2 markers. We can do that tomorrow. All right, great. So I think we have covered most of the things in today's video. So at this stage, I will pause. I would say you should also go and do your focus study. Sitting in front of the screen is good, but at the same time, now I've told you so much of information. It's important for you to synthesize everything. Let everything absorb and go and peacefully study by yourself. Make your own notes. Refer to the notes that Pawan sir has shared with all of you on the Telegram channel. I think that should be good enough for you. So I'll take your leave for now. Thank you so much for joining our live class. This was our first attempt in actually trying this out, and I think it was a great success for all of us. And we are thoroughly happy that I was able to see so much of engagement on the chat section as well, right? So if it helped you, please share these videos with your friends who's writing the English exam on March 3rd. And I would really hope all of them get above 70 and 75 without any problem, right? Like I said, English is not the easiest subject to score at all. My aim actually is to make you actually get more hundreds in English, which is very rare. We generally don't cross more than 10 students in the entire state. And I'm actually very precise over here. So maybe after our efforts, we might have more number of 80s and 100s. So that's the whole goal. Thank you so much for joining today. I will look at some of the comments that you had, and based on that, we'll try to tailor make tomorrow's resources. But I'm also going to keep the video short tomorrow because I want you to actually spend time studying by yourself as well. So thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening. Good night.